After my interview with Demi the Daredevil, it was announced that he has a short film coming out later this month on YouTube to go along with his recent record Vanishing Point. So be sure to check that out. Now, here's my interview. Hi, I'm Randy Hollenbeck, and this is the Music Roundtable. Today on the show, we have Jeff from emo pop alternative rock band Demi the Daredevil.
Hey, what's up? Good to see you. Thanks for having me back. Happy to be here.
Thought I wanna wake up at 5, but wishing that I didn't. Got up zoning out, master up at getting funeral of me with the natty and the coffee. I'm an American zombie. Watch the Spanish spins rock it up. Every day's Monday, cram backside. Hate I am so sick and bad from facing every day. Always running, come undone for you. What a game, what a life for approval. Early grave, autoplay to my funeral. Signs do nothing, hollow voices too. What a game, what a life for approval. Early grave, autoplay to my funeral.
The last time you were on the show was December 14th, 2022, and we talked about your song Withering Heights. Catch us up on what you've been up to since then.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Can't even believe it was that long ago, man. Well, I remember the My Purgatorium release. Man, I think since then it's been a lot of being on the road. There's been some really long tours in since then, and a lot of singles that have helped grow the project, and then Vanishing Point, which is just more of another concept EP since the Purgatorium. Yeah, so it's just been touring and recording and just yeah, just trying to grow, be connected with the fans.
Okay. What has been something you've learned over the last couple years?
I've learned a lot of things not to do. Very little what to do, but I've learned, let's see, I think that I probably learned, that you can't really omit being, I don't want to say an influencer, but I can't hide away and just work on the songs like I had always done. I'm like, no, I have to kind of show a part of my daily self more often, and so that's probably the biggest thing that I've had to learn and like work towards being like it's just a different mindset for me because I'm a very like introverted, withdrawn person, kind of shy, private person, and so yeah, it's just a non-negotiable. So I'm learning that. I've learned that. Learned yeah, just to make sure all your gear works before tour, because I've faced a lot of things from being not prepared, and I'm sure there's other things, but yeah, I'll just stick with that.
Okay. You mentioned you were shy. Like, how did you like overcome like stage fright?
Stage is just so, I think that's the missing link for me, or like a miss. It's like I'm fine on stage, totally fine on stage. I don't get shy, maybe a little bit. I'm sure I get the nerves initially, but it just feels much more like I know what I'm doing. I'm good if I have an activity that I'm doing, and it's not just me kind of ranting or just making it about me as much as just like the show or the performance. That makes it easier. So it's almost like I can hide underneath that and just kind of go into a different kind of person. So yeah, but I will say in terms of the live show, yeah, I used to be like I was singing my I used to be the drummer, and so I was getting to hide behind that way. And then when I became a singer, I was singing my brother's melodies, and it was just painful. I just played so many painful shows where I'm like, this is excruciatingly. um, hard to get out of my shell. I feel very shy because I wasn't like fully feeling the music, I think. And so after, and playing by myself for years, I'm like, yeah, there's a lot of embarrassing things, but that was a different kind of embarrassment. Like things are going wrong on stage, like technical things, and I'm kind of like not practiced enough. So yeah, it was just a lot of that humiliation ritual has happened enough, and a lot of preparation in that process I've learned. So yeah, now it's just like, okay, I know what I'm doing. You can calm down. You can try to enjoy yourself a little bit more.
Kind of like trial and error as you're going, and then like you know, you're like, if you do mess up, you'll be like, that ain't as bad as the last mess up I had. So, you know, you know, it can't get any worse than that.
Yeah. It can only go up here from that. Yeah, yeah, exactly. I know. No, exactly. Yeah. It's uh right. The embarrassments just get less and less big. So that's good.
And you know what to say and do in those circumstances and stuff too.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't think I was that way, but I've gotten enough feedback where there people are like, "You pulled that off," and I don't know how, but yeah, somehow I think again, just it's happened so many times where I'm like, well, this is to be expected. Let's just kind of roll with the moment. Yeah, you got to just make it seem a lot more fluid than it actually is. You're just like, okay, everything could fall apart. Let me just pretend like we're gonna do a little banter action, do a little ask a few questions.
Awesome. Um, what would be one thing you would like to see change in the music industry?
Oh, that's a good one. What is one thing I would like to see change in the music industry? This is something it's kind of like, no mean to get off topic, but it's kind of like if there's poverty in the world, then instead of saying just that money needs to be thrown at stuff, there also is a education component to this, like a fundamental foundational thing. So like with the music industry, it's almost like, can we ever expect that to happen? You hope that it can happen more and more, but um, I think just with music, I feel like maybe it would be nice if the world could just acknowledge that a lot of entertainers that we see making it, which I learned over the years, kind of started out very much up here, and then we look at the final mountain that they're on and just kind of focus on that, and then we're not really kind of looking at a lot of the people that entertainers that come from what working class has come from, which is very much down here, and you could excel a lot, but you're still not at the mountain. But it's not really given a lot of credit, or it's not kind of like there hasn't been a distinction between what is severe trauma, what is severe poverty, what's the distinction between that and just being lazy or just having a character issue, So it would be nice if there was a distinction, I think, in people pursuing their passions, if that all makes sense.
Okay. I wanted to talk about a couple of your songs off your album Vanishing Point. And like this is like a solid album front to back. And
I'm glad you dig it. Thanks.
um Autoplay to Funeral. And there's a couple lines in there. What a game, what a lie for approval, early grave, autoplay to my funeral. And like from what I got from the whole song is, you know, throughout your life there's always people telling you what you should be doing instead of letting you do what you want to do. And they're trying to fit you in with like the normal people, and we know the music industry is abnormal, you know?
Yes, absolutely. I know. No, you nailed it. That was literally that was the point of that's kind of a lot of the point of the album, that the Vanishing Point, that was supposed to come out and then couldn't release as many artists experienced, couldn't release the full album. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to do any more singles. I'm going to do a little body of work before that. And it was based off of that same idea where there's just this big pressure force from all over to conform to a certain clear path and clear way. There's so much conformity or so much coercion, so much pressure, so much and so yeah, that's what that song was like. Here's the last song that goes into the next album where it's like, okay, like it doesn't end pretty. I goofed. I made a mistake. I've been listening to these people and I decided on a path that wasn't my own life. I'm not in control of my own actions and my own decisions. And so yeah, that's what that song was. And just kind of seeing through it a little bit like, okay, I can't keep living this way. It's just this is just we're all living for what? Just to make other people feel like they made the right choice and they're going to project all their fears onto you and you're like no no, no okay yeah, your way is the right way. So yeah, yeah, and it just your life just goes by like that. It was like autoplay to my funeral, like everything is just a speeding rush and it's like did I even live my life?
Yeah, like in the song, you're like, everybody's trying to tell you what to do. Go to college, do this job. But you see where they're at. They're miserable in their job and they start medicating themselves to try to escape that. So you see where it's going and you don't want to follow that path.
Yeah, yeah, and I was very much in that path. I was just I was gonna die. I was gonna take my life and I attempted before and it was because there's so you could attribute it to so many reasons, but I think it's that when you feel like this is not my life and you're not in control, what's the point? And yeah, and people, yeah, how else you just you kind of just you hate every waking moment of your life and then you have to turn to escape hatches that are just yeah, destructive.
Thought I wanted college, I thought, but missed the fine print. Daddy's voice you thought was yours, just signed a contract of basic misery with the natty and the coffee. Won't make it to 30. Minute to psych, I'm due for lithium. Scribbles through my flighty cries with drugs that turn me into phantoms. Kill me while they save. Always running, come undone for you. What a game, what a life for approval. Early grave autoplay to my funeral. Signs do nothing, hollow voices do. What a game, what a life for approval. Early grave autoplay to my funeral. Early grave autoplay to my funeral. Autoplay, autoplay to my funeral. Early grave autoplay to my funeral. Autoplay, autoplay to my funeral.
The next song is Blackbird July. It starts out with like acoustic guitar, and there's a line in there: "If I forget your tombstone, please haunt my life. You'll always be my Blackbird July." And I know this song is about your friend that passed away, and I just wanted you to, if you wanted to tell the story about this song, because I believe you and him both wrote it together. I saw you had like writing credit on it.
Oh, did he? I'm glad that we made sure to add that. Yeah, because he, actually the part of the verse, it was taken from an old demo. Actually, he had like about a 10-minute long recording of just different splices of songs, and just he just was really into the kind of metal sounding guitar, a lot of three-part harmonies. He was doing like variations of the Tetris theme song with some movie scores with like he was just so young to be so understanding of what like really good music was. And so anyway, he that was one of his, I don't know where he got that or maybe he came up with it, but it was just a little segment. And so yeah, he that was the part of the verse was his melody that from that. Super connected to those old recordings that he had. And yeah, yeah, no, it was that was kind of like the it inadvertently happened because I wanted to write a song about him and it kind of just fit into this story of being like, yeah, there's all these traumatic things and uh that are taking you away from yourself. And then you meet like a rebel. You meet a punk rocker. There's someone who's just like, I'm just gonna be myself. I'm gonna do exactly what I want to do, what I love. And so yeah, it was the first time I ever wrote about him and I thought I kind of had let it go more than I really did. And just like writing about it, it was, every time I hear it and when I was writing, it's just like, yeah, it was very, very emotional. He's just was a really, everyone can always say this. There's a lot of people who have had someone they love die, and I just saw that at the shows, and I'm sure we all can look at those pets or those people as like this was the most special pet, and it's like, but I really feel that about him. I'm like, this guy was really special. He really uh, burn bright, but burn fast, kind of person, and really just, yeah, just full of joy and excitement, and really the opposite of me in a lot of ways. Very extroverted, very funny, and yeah, just wrote that song about like when I first met him and try to put myself in that scene, if what it felt like. And I'm like, if I don't ever want to forget you. That's what that, like, yeah, just I just don't want to, you don't in his family, they don't want people to forget him, so I'm glad that I, despite people going against me to keep this was his project, and me trying to keep it alive, they're happy that I did do that eventually, just to keep him alive. So yeah.
Okay. Could we talk about a little bit about the recording process for that song? Because it starts out with like acoustic guitar and like the dynamics, they keep on building until they hit the chorus, and then you bring it back down again. Was that did was that like pieced together, or was that like a blueprint intentional that you did it that way?
And specifically, you're asking if the that decision to go big on the course and then drop down again after you already were soft. Yeah, I never. That's a intricate detail, because I don't remember how I think it was, in my mind, it was still progressing after the first course with the beat. The beat might have been, I think the beat might have come in harder the second half of the verse or something. I was trying to make it develop, but yeah, it was just kind of like that same schema, or like that same structure of like, let's have like a really soft, intimate verse and then just go all out for the chorus, and then the verse comes again. It's just like, yeah, we're meant to go soft right away. There's the dynamic things. Yeah.
In the summer heat through the power lines, some fashion icon is outside, pierced up with spiked hair and child eyes. Don't die with sharp beat on his tie. Fugitive of all things boring, teenage dropout and prodigy. Crank up that and bless your melodies. Let's drum auditions, my destiny. Straight from a small town of El Paso. Let me hold tight, let me fall in love forever. Let me forget every cruelty and misery. If I forget your tombstone, please haunt my life. You'll always be my woe, my blackbird July.
I've seen you collaborate with different people. What is there like, is there when you put together a song, do you like look for a specific person you want to collaborate with on that song?
It's a good question, because I'm going through that still. It's always seems to be a process where I haven't quite, everyone's busy, and schedules don't align, or maybe like I'm blanking on something at the moment. So sometimes you just end up in kind of whatever writing scenario you happen to, the cards fell that way that time. But yeah, I do. I am starting to think about that a little bit more, about like if there were collaborations of writing or just another artist or something, of being like, I for sure know that this writer somehow, if I'm lucky, I've researched and found a writer that's like, I know you do a good job. You've experienced this kind of vibe before. And so I specifically want to work with you on this one. It just doesn't always work out that clean. There's a lot of the times where I go in and I'm like, this is what I think you should do, this is what I think we should do, and like hear this, and then it kind of just takes a whole new turn, and or they want to work on something else, and so it's really hard. It's really hard for me to collab. Honestly, it's very hard.
You were in the studio recently working on some new music. Who are you working with as a producer in there?
Oh, for Vanishing Point.
Is that where you said you were recording yesterday?
Oh, yes. That was with someone named Holden Glazer. Yeah, he's a he's the I met him through, yeah, just a BMI creative director at BMI in LA, and so he's referred, or he suggested some people, and we're like, oh, I heard his one of his EPs that he said he did a long time ago, but it had a cinematic slash alternative pop feel. So I was like, oh, he really gets the film score kind of world, and so and then that's what he does a lot of. He works with rap, and he works with just a wide variety of people, but he does a lot of sync, and so he's really, if he yeah he's really good with the arrangements and stuff like that. So yeah, that's who I went with, and we're doing a few songs, it looks like, together. So yeah, we got a couple of good ones, I think.
Now, when you go into the studio, do you bring demos or do you just go in there and start from scratch?
I so in this case, like for the album, or actually Vanishing Point too. um, yeah, a lot of them I'll come in with what I the lyrics written pretty much, and the a lot of the time the verses and the bridge and stuff like that, and then and sometimes someone will help me. They'll be like, let's make, I think this course could be even better. And so that's a lot of it. And then there's, yeah, and then producers are just like, let's make this sound bigger. Let's add these twinkles, and let's just, but yeah, I would say I've had those couple writing sessions where it's just like, let's just go in and go with the flow, and sometimes it's worked out great. And so yeah, but usually, yeah, with the album, with the concept stuff, that is where I would be like, all right, this has to be this I'm like, I'm 80% convinced, and I'm a little bit flexible. I'm trying to be more and more flexible, but yeah, so mhm.
Yeah, I like when you go in sometimes and you like experiment with different things just to see if they work. If they don't work, you don't have to put them on there, but just try it, you know?
That's it. That's it, dude. That's it. And I'm learning that too. And it's really refreshing. Like, even with Holden yesterday, he's just like, I want you to, I mean, he's probably picking up that I'm timid about it. I want you to know that you could tell me, like, if you don't like something, you can always tell me. And so I'm getting comfortable with, yeah, just sometimes you butt heads, and they're just like, I just really like this. And I'm like, I really don't like this. And just trying to assert it, but like you said, initially trying to be like, let's just go with the flow, like let go, just like whatever sounds, and I'm wrong half of the time.
Yeah, because you don't know where it's going to go. Because usually when you go in with like demos, you start out with this and you just create something completely different, but like 100 times better, you know?
You're just true. That really is it, because I would say it's so much more good than bad at all. Maybe there's certain things you're just like, man, I really wish that part didn't get lost and stuff like that. But for the most part, yeah, it's really amazing to see that, like, oh yeah, this wouldn't have been as good if it was just in a little shoebox, little, narrow-minded thing. Just like, I'm just gonna do it all. It's like, no, no, it really, that's why I feel like that's why, like, so many great bands, they don't have that often nowadays. There's just like solo artists, because maybe it's easier. It's just more, it's harder now to survive, to balance everything. But yeah, like all the great bands, it's like there are four really strong personalities all putting their ingredients in the dish.
Okay. What else here? What's your plans for the next 6 months?
Yeah, the plans, I think that it's just going to be writing and some shows. I'm not sure if we're doing, it's kind of more of a, let's really prepare for this album to be as great as it could be. Just cross all the T's, dot the I's, and just trying to, yeah. So it's going to be a lot of that, and then I think there's some runs with university shows. So it's a little different than the usual kind of touring thing, but it's yeah, it's another way of doing it. I just learned about that was even a thing, but yeah, there might be some of those kind of like they bring in bands and you play like, bigger, they're much bigger, like here's a convention or here's like a, kind of a thing like that. So I think it'll be some of that, but not too many shows this year. Just trying to focus on the all the visuals and the getting the yeah, cinematography and the songs kind of like all lined up to be, yeah, it makes sense.
Okay. And how many songs are on the album?
It's still in the process. I think so far the lyrics written and the story has 11, but I'm sure there'll be some might be some others to be like, okay, well, yeah, this could go there. But yeah, I think the plan for at least 11.
Okay. And they're pretty much what can we expect from that new batch of songs compared to what we just talked about?
Yeah, I think that with Vanishing Point, I don't know if you noticed that it was I'm trying to think, there were more guitars. It was a little bit more guitar driven. You heard a little bit more of it, and I think that that's going to be even more so on this, where it's going to be like really leaning into, you know, leaning in more into rock and like be like, what is there's I want it to retain an urgency. So it's like yeah, just hear the kind of heavier guitar tones. Still has the alternative pop thing, and then a little bit into the uh almost Broadway. Almost Broadway a little bit like there's not I'm not trying to stay confined to the 2.5 minute song.
Okay. And can we expect any new music dropping before the end of the year?
Um, Good question. I just thought about that today. I'm like, damn, gotta do something. And so yeah, I have something for Halloween that I'm almost sure I'm gonna do. And there's a few collab stuff, like collaboration tracks, and it would be great. I'm glad we had this conversation because it just reminded me to do a Christmas song. I really want to make that happen. I have something in the works.
Okay. How can we get a hold of you? Facebook, Instagram?
Well, trying to think of I'm still working out the best way to, but you could follow, yeah, I'm pretty much like you could see what I'm up to on a daily basis with random thoughts on the Instagram stories. And then I try to meet at least once every 3 weeks or so, I think as of now, or once every 2 weeks with the Discord every Friday at 5 p.m. Pacific time. You can join the Discord on in the Instagram bio, and those are really the main ones.
Okay. That's all the questions I have. Thanks for coming on the show today. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
I would like for you to plug what we talked about, what you were doing at the show.
About the new venue,
Yeah.
the music venue. Yeah. That uh I think I'm going to open it in March of 2027. That will be like my 6-year mark since I started, and it's a 300 cap venue, and there's also a smaller room. It's like a 50 cap room, and there's a big green room, an overnight room for bands, showers, washers and dryers, and a couple other things that I'll talk about later.
I will say, Randy, there's not really many venues in America that offer that many things. As it's yeah, you going above and beyond for the artist, like that's a really rare thing. And yeah, and the traveling musicians are very appreciative of you for that. And also made me think of anybody who's hearing this and has a big project in mind. You said 6 years, right? 6 years in the making. Takes a long time, longer than we think. There's a lot of behind the scenes work that go into working on something.
Yeah. Yeah, like I had different steps. I started out with the podcast, then I did like a series called Backstage Pass, and then I started a radio station and I got a radio team like based in Mansfield, Ohio, Richmond, Virginia, Pittsburgh, and Nashville. And then I'm gonna have the venue.
Dude, that's you're doing a lot, man. You're living your I mean, you've always had a passion for music, right? Seems like it's that's is that would you say that's what carries you through if you had to say like what is your why? That like why do you put in all this effort towards all these goals and everything in music? I mean, it's a hard place to be. Hard industry, but it's worth it. It's worth it, but I'm curious.
Well, everybody says they're always trying to build a scene, but nobody wants to step up and do it. And that kind of like drives me. and
Ooh, God, that's good. That is good. Yeah, dude.
and and also seeing bands struggle out on the road because I know what they go through, and if I could provide them with like a place to hang overnight, that's fine with me.
That's amazing. I think my new nickname for you is Saint Randy. Saint Randy of music of traveling musicians. Well, that's amazing, dude. Much respect. Thank you for having me. Thanks for the inspo. And yeah, I'm glad we got to talk after this amount of time. Thank you for having me.
From dime bags and 40s and silly faces to your musical science greatness. You're an alien who is gracing